community development here at Lee College. Last night, we visited the 2021 destinations, from the canyons of the Southwest to South Dakota's Badlands, the Colorado Rockies by train, the spectacular Isles of Greece, fall foliage in Vermont, and we ended 2021 with the Christmas markets of Montreal and Quebec. And it was just a spectacular evening. Tonight is going to be similar. Of course, we're going to many different destinations, but the presentations will be the same. I want all of you to be aware that if you did miss last night's, and we are videotaping both last night and tonight, and they will be on our webpage. So you can just sit back and relax and start planning your next vacation. I am going to turn this over to Naomi Cooper, who is our senior, full-time senior and community education program manager. And again, when we come back, I'll tell you how you can get onto the website, how you can see the YouTube videos if you'd like to watch them again. And Naomi, I turn it over to you.
Well, good evening. Thank y'all so much for joining. I'm excited to be here. As Dana said, my name's Naomi Cooper, and I'm the full-time program manager here at Lee College for the senior program. I work on day trips and creating courses for everyone, and so far loving it. Right now, due to COVID, we don't have a whole lot going on, but I am hosting a few courses weekly in November and December via WebEx. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can get on our mailing list. So if you want more information or you want to get on our mailing list, you can email workforce@lee.edu. And that's also the email address that you're going to use to ask any questions that you have about tonight's events. So if a vendor's going over a trip and you have a question that pops up, or a registration question or anything like that, you can email us at workforce@lee.edu. You can also call us, and that phone number is 281-425-6311, and that's during normal business hours. And those call business hours are 7:30 to 5 every day. And then we also do appointments. So if you want to come in and have one of us sit down with you and a laptop and walk you through the steps of that, we're more than happy to do that. I would love to see you, but we do want to stay safe. And so we do request that you make an appointment if you want to come into the center. And to make an appointment, just call that phone number, 281-425-6311. And we are making appointments on Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 to 5, and on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 6. So if you have any questions, again, workforce@lee.edu, or that phone number is 281-425-6311. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Foley, who has been in charge of the travel group here at Lee College for 30 years now. And she is also in charge of running all the trips that were presented for last night and will be presented tonight, so for the next 2 years. So Lynn, take it away.
Hi, good evening. I welcome you to my gallery of photos. These are some of the photos that I've taken over the last 32 years traveling with Collect Vacations and Premier World Discovery, and I really look forward to adding to this gallery of photos with Mayflower Cruises after the end of 2022. I have been with Lee College. I just retired last August after 32 years. Now I'm semi-retired and hired back as the travel consultant for Lee College. And so I'll be working along with Dana and very closely with Naomi and other people in our community education division. Last year at our 2020 Travel Showcase, my enthusiastic core of volunteers and my travel advisory committee welcomed 200 people to Tucker Hall. And the presentations were overwhelmingly enthusiastically presented, and we signed up hundreds of people, and we had 6 wonderful tours scheduled for this year. but then our world was put on hold as the pandemic curtailed state and international travel. We followed the guidelines, we continued to observe the protocols, and now we are optimistic for the years 2021 and 2022. I want to give a special thank you to my travel advisory committee that has helped me for many, many years, and they helped in picking out these tours. I want to personally thank Steve and Suzette Wavero, John and Carolyn James, Winona Montgomery, Kay Hill, Sharon Terrell, Sally Bargainer, Lynn Kempley, Linnell and Frank McKay, Linda Richardson, Roxy Knappenberger, Debbie Waller, and Sandra Jones. And I want you all to give yourselves a great big personal hug because I can't do that. And I really would love to give you a hug right now. So thank these people for all they did. Now I would like to introduce our vendors that are presenting for this evening. Michelle Vasquez has been with Mayflower for the past 3 years as their business development manager. Of 26 years, live in McKinney, Texas, and they are proud graduates and college sweethearts from Texas Tech University. She also told me, and I'm going, whoa, she's got 3 kids in college. 2 happen to be twin boys that are 23 and a 19-year-old daughter. So, wow. Michelle also loves to travel. She's already visited over 17 countries and just returned last fall from Croatia. Please welcome Michelle Vasquez. But I'm first going to jump over to Kenny Judd. Kenny Judd is the consummate sales professional for all the years after he graduated from the University of Oklahoma, where he also played baseball. He's been with Collect Vacations the past 9 years as first the director of sales for the Northeast region of the United States, and now as the director for the central part of the United States. Kenny can't think of anything better than being on the lake in Arkansas with his beautiful wife, Diana, and their 2 girls who are 7 and 14. And then we'll be talking to Kimberly Cruz, and she is with Premier World Discovery. Kimberly is from San Angelo, Texas, a cute little Southern girl who said she loves her mama and she loves her sweet tea. And I know a lot of people that follow that. She's worked in travel for over 10 years and actually lived and worked on cruise ships for many years. She's a former NBC sports and news reporter. I want you to Google her, go to the University of Notre Dame, go Irish, and see her reporting and her commentating. It's spectacular. And also she's worked at the Grand Ole Opry. Lanny Landis is not actually presenting this evening, but he is one of another consummate professionals that we have from Premier World Discovery. He also happens to be a neighbor of Kenny Judd, living in Little Rock, Arkansas. He also has a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful daughters, but he's turning the show over tonight to Kimberly. So we are now going to throw it back to Michelle, and you're going to tell us about that fabulous Tulip Time cruise in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. As she mentioned, my name is Michelle Vasquez with Mayflower Cruises and Tours, and I am so excited to be here tonight. Mayflower is new to this travel showcase, and we're just beyond excited to participate tonight in this new format. But hats off to Lee College for making this happen and putting together the virtual showcase so that we can get excited about travel coming up in 21 and 22. So I will go ahead and share my screen here, and we will get going. Okay, so I am here today to present the Tulip Time on the Jewels of the Rhine. And when this tour was selected by the college, I was so excited. This is one of my favorite trips that Mayflower has to offer. So I had the opportunity to do this trip myself in the spring of 2018. Going at the same time of year, right through the beautiful Tulip spring awakening in Europe. And so I'm excited. I've actually put some of my own photos in here to share. So you'll notice some of those as we go along. They're not all professional shots. You might see some right from my iPhone. So Mayflower. So again, we're new. So I wanted to give a minute to just introduce us as a company before we get into the actual itinerary. Mayflower Cruises and Tours. We have been in business for over 40 years. Founded in 1979, and we are based in Lisle, Illinois, so just outside of Chicago. We offer guided, escorted tours here across the United States, land tours across the world, and river cruises, of course, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So Mayflower is part of the Scenic group. So Scenic River Cruises is the parent company, and they have their Scenic line of cruises. They own Mayflower Cruises and Tours here in the U.S. Emerald Waterways, that is the line of ship that we will be sailing on in 22. So you're going to learn a lot about Emerald Waterways here in a minute. And then they have their Evergreen Cruise and Tour division as well, out of Australia. So as we get back into traveling, a question that's top of everybody's mind is health and safety. What are we doing here at Mayflower to ensure the safety of our guests, our crew, making sure you have a great experience while still staying safe as we move into traveling again. So we're taking that very seriously at Mayflower, looking at all aspects of that. My hope, obviously we're going to be getting back into travel next year. I hope that by the time this trip takes place in 2022, that this mess is a distant memory for us. But if it's not, we will be following the protocols from the CDC, the World Health Organization, making sure that we're following everything exactly what we need to do to keep you safe. There you can check our website, Mayflower Cruises and Tours. We have our Cruise with Confidence information up there. There's some bullet points I put down here. You can read further into those on the website. But a few I wanted to point out, the safe start to the journey. We'll be doing health screenings, making sure that you're safe to come on board. Our health, the crew is tested, before they board, multiple times throughout the trip, keeping that crew safe. We're minimizing contact at check-in. And when you look at cruising, I know that, cruising kind of got a bad rap, in this past year. The big ocean cruise, or, the cruise lines, people thinking about the dining and the air and the circulation in the ship. And I just want you to be confident that that's nothing, no concern here. River cruising is completely different than large ocean cruising. You'll see that as we get further into the slides. But the main thing, the air circulation, there is fresh air being brought into every stateroom from the outside directly into those suites on the ship, and then right back out to the outside. So it is not flowing in with the other air on the ship. Dining wise, we're looking at that and how to move forward with some of the buffet dining in the past. That might look different as we go forward. It might still be a buffet, but it will be served. And we may go to all plated meals. We're looking at that very closely, and just be assured that we will be doing the right thing for you as we move forward. Again, this is very big. We know that everybody is looking at booking, but they want to be confident with that booking. They want to know, if they put the money down on this trip and we're still not comfortable and ready to go, that is something that we're offering right now, is a fully refundable, risk-free deposit to the Lee College program. We know that this is important. The Lee College is also, wanting to make this risk-free, wanting to make this a great experience for you guys. So what we're doing is, if you book and make a reservation on this trip, and we get into March of next year, which will be about 1 year prior to departure, if over the next 5 months things aren't turning around, you're not comfortable, and you want to cancel, that is absolutely okay, and we will refund 100% of your deposit, including the insurance amount, which is part of the deposit package. So all of that money comes back to you completely risk-free. With cruising, inventory is tight. We had to move, people from this year wanted to rebook into 2021. That leaves our space limited in 21, so now 22. It's just continuing to flow with the inventory and the tightness there. So if you would like to go, we really encourage you to book soon, and but just know that that money is safe and it is risk-free. So let's get into the itinerary, because I know that's what you really are excited to hear about, and I'm excited to tell you. So this is an 11-day program. It features 2-night hotel stay in Lucerne pre-cruise, and then we board our Emerald Waterways vessel and we sail, I guess you would call it up the Rhine River. It's a river because it's starting up here in the Alps. It is actually flowing south to north, but we will be going northward up through France, Germany, and ending up in Amsterdam. You'll see here the flight in is into Zurich. This is an 11-day program that has 23 meals as part of the package. The white circles here are touring locations along the way. And then the kind of a, I don't know the shape of that, but the little gray sort of a oval there, those are optional excursions that we'll go over as well. So beginning in Lucerne, like I said, we have our overnight flight from Zurich, and we land, from the United States into Zurich, and then we are met at the airport, transferred by coach into gorgeous Lucerne. This is one of my favorite cities in the world. It's so clean, and this picture is just honestly exactly what it looks like. Clean water, clean air. The swans here, you really do see them. The hotel location that we have in Lucerne is right across from Lake Lucerne, and you can walk along. You'll see those swans there, and the Alps in the background. It is just a spectacular sight. So we will come in, we will get adjusted, have time to rest up, and the following day have touring of Lucerne. So we'll have a walking tour, learning about the history in the area, including this chapel bridge. So this, another angle of it here, this is constructed in 1333, one of the oldest wooden bridges in Europe. We will learn that history, learn about a fire that took place in the 1990s on this bridge, and just get, like I said, a walking tour of Lucerne and the city, the village there. One of the, I think the high points of Lucerne, for me anyway, is the Lion Monument. So this is sitting back in a little park area. It's got a nice reflecting pool in front of it, but it's a lion carved out of the stone there, and it's meant to memorialize the Swiss Guard that were massacred in the French Revolution in Paris. And so this sculpture, etched this lion into the stone facade, and it's just so detailed and so moving. It's until you're up in front of it, it's hard to describe. Mark Twain actually said it best. He said it's one of the most mournful and moving pieces of stone in the world, and I would definitely agree with that. So make sure you have time to see that. And then this is my own. You can tell when you'll see my own photos here. Right in the middle of Lucerne, right in the city center, there is a chocolate shop that has a flowing wall of chocolate. Don't even miss it. Like the smell, you can't imagine the aroma of this chocolate flowing down this wall. I felt like I was in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory when I came into here. But this is a large shop, and it's the main one right there in the center. And the shop has several rooms in it, but make sure you make your way to the back to see the flowing wall. So on our next morning, before we leave Lucerne, there is an optional excursion. I would highly suggest it. It's not for everybody. If heights are not your thing, then maybe this isn't for you. But I would do this if you're up for it. It is the excursion to the top of Mount Pilatus. So we go by, there's a transfer, there's a cable car and a gondola. There's two aspects to getting to the top. And this is the viewing vantage point when you get up to the top. And you can just see for miles, I think it's 27 alpine peaks that are visible from the top. It is well worth it. Make sure you have warmer clothing. The temperature at the bottom in Lucerne is quite different than what you'll experience when you get to the top. This is a photo of me. I was there in April. It was very pleasant, 70-degree weather at the bottom, and I was glad I had my coat and scarf at the top. But the photo, it's worth it, and just seeing the sights. There was a lady in our group that just teared up. She said she'd always dreamed of seeing the Swiss Alps, and this was just such a special moment, for her to see. So it's a great moment to have. And then we travel to Basel, Switzerland, where we embark on our river cruise adventure. So Emerald Waterways, I mentioned that earlier, is one of the scenic groups, the scenic brands, and that is the ship that we will be sailing on. So Emerald Waterways, you may or may not have heard of them. Just in case, I'll give you a little description here on Emerald. So it's a newer in the river cruise world. We started constructing ships for Emerald in 2014. What's great for you on that is that no ship is older than 7 years old. I guess it would be 8 years old when you go in 2022. We are building new ships and adding them into that Emerald spaceship fleet all the time. This is Cruise Critic. Some of you might be familiar with Cruise Critic and the blog and the ratings that they give. So we started constructing Emerald. Emerald launched in 2014. By 2016, they were already being recognized by this industry leader as the best value, the best river cruise line for value. And then you'll see consistently year after year after year, we continue to get that same accolade. I think you'll see when you look through these photos, you'll see why the value and what you receive in this package and what you the experience from Emerald is why that is so well received. So inside the ship, it's very clean lines, nice use of light and space, lots of grays, whites, neutral colors, has a very open feel. I like to jump right into the cabins because everybody asks, well, what is my cabin going to look like? So let's just get right into that and I'll show you the options. So this is an Emerald stateroom. This is the lowest level, and there are only 3 decks on the ship. So this is going to be the bottom. This has everything is considered an outside stateroom if you're used to that terminology. Every cabin has a window, but this window is more at shoulder level. So this cabin is actually sitting at water level. So the window is here. It brings nice light in. You can see what the weather is like outside, but the window does not open. That is because those swans that you saw there in Lucerne by the bridge will probably become bobbing by your window here. This is at water level, and I did see swans come by, so that's why I say that. So this is your entry-level stateroom, Emerald stateroom, Riviera deck. Most of the cabins on the ship are going to look exactly like this. This is our panorama balcony suite. Here's where you have now, you're on the 2nd and 3rd level of the ship, and you have the panorama window that's going floor to ceiling, bringing all that light in the room and just really opening up the space. So what's unique about this window is you'll see the horizontal bar across the edge here. There is a button that you push, and the top of the window comes down, and open air comes in, and it becomes a balcony within your room. So that horizontal bar becomes almost what you call a balcony railing, looking out. So the balcony, instead of walking outside to a balcony, the balcony has now come in. So it's a great use of space because we don't take that square footage away from the cabin. You're not, the square footage is usable all the time instead of just when you're walking outdoors. The Grand Balcony Suite, there are 8 of these, and actually I believe there might only be 1 available at this point. So this is where you actually have a true door where you walk out to the outside. And then we have our owner's 1-bedroom suite for the fancy of the fancy. So here you have multiple rooms, large walk-in closet. It's at a different level altogether here. So the staff, they're English speaking, they are great, friendly. I guess I use the bartender as the example on my staff picture because he's an important guy to know. But it is a great experience. You're going to love the staff on board, very attentive to the guests, and you'll get to know them throughout the week. So here's the Reflections restaurant. This is where the meals are served. It brings to mind here with the server showing the wine that beer and wine and soft drinks are included with lunch and dinner already. There's coffee and tea available all the time. There's bottled water in your stateroom that's replenished daily. And then, like I said, you have the soft drinks and the regional beer and wine at that lunch and dinner. You can also purchase drinks from the bar. There's a bar package available that you can purchase when you get on board. But like I said, you do have quite a bit already packaged in here from the start. You will not go hungry. The food is fantastic. You have 3 meals a day here in that Reflections restaurant. There are probably, I think, maybe 4 to 5 options each night on the menu, more regional, different things for you to try. But there's a standard menu as well of steak, salmon, chicken that you can select from. So if you're a pickier eater or just want something more basic, that's always available as well. There is an early riser breakfast up in the top lounge. If you don't want to go to the sit down, into the main restaurant for breakfast, you can always grab a continental breakfast up on that top deck. There is a pool at the back. I think this is a great option here. There is a swimming pool. It's rather small, but it is a pool at the back. And what's neat about it, use of space, they turn this to a cinema at night. So they cover the pool, move the chairs around, and now we have a movie theater. There is a small fitness center, a wellness area, the bar. Of course, this is also a lounge that has a small dance floor and chairs. They'll have games in here at night. Music, things after dinner. The sun deck, this is a great time to spend afternoons watching the beautiful scenery go by, take a nap, have a drink out here and watch the scenery. There are bikes available. You can take those for use and go up and down the shore. We use personal listening devices throughout the trip, so you don't have to be right up close to your guide. You're divided into smaller walking groups, and then we're always using those whisper headsets so that you can hear. So itinerary-wise, I'll breeze through this really quickly. Brisach, Germany is where we start. This is a Bavarian town, very Hansel and Gretel. This is where you want to get your cuckoo clocks. If you are in the market for one of those, this is your area for that. And there is an option. There is an Emerald Active option of a hike through the Bavarian forest. So you might want to leave some breadcrumbs on the Hansel and Gretel way. There's also a Black Forest cake demonstration on board on this day. And then we're into Strasbourg, France. So my daughter, every time she sees these photos, she says it looks like Beauty and the Beast. And I agree. They're known for the half-timbered buildings, very picturesque along the river. And it's just a gorgeous little town. We do a walking tour, learning about the historical aspects, seeing the cathedral in the city center, and then you also have free time to just browse around, shop. I took these photos. Obviously, I had food on the brain there, but just the windows and the food that you saw in the little alleyways and quaint little nooks and crannies of Strasbourg. So then we're into Heidelberg. This is the town of the oldest university in Germany is located here. And the imposing, Heidelberg Castle up here in the background. We will have a tour of the grounds of the Heidelberg Castle, the cobblestone strip, lanes that go through here. It's just a great medieval spot to see. And there is a wine tasting included this day. Additionally, if you'd rather have an active option, you can take a hike up the hill. However, it's me, I'm going to go with the wine tasting option. But, you do have that Emerald Active option for the hike if you choose. Koblenz, Germany is our next stop. This is the confluence of the Rhine and Moselle rivers. We'll have a tour here. You can, there's a fortress that you can see there, or there's a Discover More option. This is going to Cochem, Germany, and seeing the famous Reichsburg Castle. It is a cool story about how this castle came to be revamped that I won't spoil for you, but it's a neat story. So you'll see inside of the castle, this is also the Riesling wine area, so you might want to take a sample of that. Then into Cologne, so we're almost to Amsterdam at this point. We're heading into Cologne with the big twin-spired cathedral here. It took almost 700 years to build. And the bridge, actually I took this photo, it's filled with the love locks on top of the bridge. And then, like I said, we will see the castle, the cathedral. This is the, contains the relics of the three wise men. So interesting sarcophagus and area for those three kings. This is just the shot here of Cologne, right along the river. Kolsch beer is what they're known for here. You can grab that and a pretzel before you head back to the ship. And then lastly, here we are into Amsterdam. Gorgeous with the tulips this time of year. Everything's in bloom. It's just the perfect time to see Amsterdam. It's a bucket list thing to do, to come to this, this area when the tulips are in bloom. This is literally what it looks like. You drive out to Keukenhof, and on the way, the bus is passing these fields of tulips, and grown by the farmers in the colors and the stripes, and it's just beautiful. So here we are. We're in Keukenhof Gardens, known as the Garden of Europe. It is over 7 million bulbs in bloom. It's mainly tulips, but it's also hyacinths and daffodils and roses and irises and lilies, all planted. They have a staff of 40 gardeners that work. They start in October. So actually right now they're starting to plant in these configurations and these artistic ways for the following season. So they're planting now for the 2021 season. And this garden is open from mid-March through mid-May. So they have an 8-week season that they are open. And you just stroll through, you see the iconic windmill here. You can climb up and get some photos at the top. And just the gardens and just spending time, it is really something. I took these photos with my phone, so no filter. I mean, you can tell how vibrant and just wonderful it is. There are pavilions in there as well. Don't miss the pavilions. I almost did, but there's this orchid pavilion that you walk in and just the smell is intoxicating as you go into this orchid pavilion. So make sure you take the time. It is a self-paced tour through this garden, so make sure that you keep the pavilions in mind. And then you have the rest of the afternoon and evening in Amsterdam. So this is your final night on the ship. You can, take the afternoon. You might want to go on a canal cruise in Amsterdam, or just, there's so many things to see and do there. That night, you may or may not want to go down and see the red light district. I will warn you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I have seen it, but where we're docked, it is walkable to go see that area at night if you choose. And then the following day, we are back flying home from Amsterdam back home. So this is the configuration of the ship that we talked about. This bottom Riviera deck is where you have the rectangle window at the top that doesn't open. Your Vista and Horizon deck, the middle and top, all have that full window. And then on the Horizon deck, the red, those are those owners' one-bedroom suites. So yes, this is in 2022. I know it's a year and a half away, but like I talked about with that inventory moving from 2020 to 2021, and here we are, pushing already into 2022 with the inventory. I checked it this morning, and so this is the full ship. And this is what it looks like right now. So the X's are the ones that are already reserved. So it's about 30% booked. it's still 70% open. So don't be worried about that we have cabins right now on every level for you. But please, I have to stress the urgency. If you want to go, please book soon, and so that we can get you secured in the cabin that you want, that cabin level of your choice. I did have somebody ask me the question about the beds. Can you do triples? No, these are only 2 people to a stateroom or suite. So on the reservation form, you can indicate if you want to have the beds separate, so that they're 2 twin beds, or if you want to have it pushed together. But it is only 2 people in a room. So the departure date, again, April 21st. Pricing starts at $48.99 and then goes up from there. So on that Riviera deck, there's 2 price points indicated by the color change on that schematic and on the flyer that you can see online. And then you have your Vista deck starting at $55.49, $60.49 for the Horizon. Now, what this includes, you do have free round-trip airfare from Houston to Zurich and from Amsterdam if you book by March 31st. So you have to book by then to get that free air. However, don't wait till then, because we already showed you in the last slide, there won't be any space available. So that's just the final deadline, but you definitely want to book soon. If you have friends or family, if you have somebody else that you want to join you and they're not in Houston, that's okay. You just need to indicate that. We just need to know what gateway they're flying from, and we can make it happen. The Traveler's Protection Plan and the gratuities are already included in the price. No port charges, no gratuities. It's already packaged in. So this really is essentially as close to all-inclusive, if you like to say, as we can do, with the exception of those couple of the Mount Pilatus, the excursion up to the top of the peak there, the Reichsberg Castle. There's a couple of things, but for the most part, this is all in. So it's a great value when you look at everything that is included. If you're a single and you want to travel by yourself, then you would, and you don't have, no traveling companion, you want to have the cabin to yourself, then that is the single room add-on that you'll pay additionally. It's about 50% approximately more that you'll add to the price to have that room to yourself. Deposit is $850. That's due at the time of the reservation. Again, no risk, fully refundable until March. But $850 will lock you in, get your cabin, get your free air, get everything that you need to get your space secured. And then final payment is due 90 days before departure. So that is not until January 21st of 2022. So $850 is all we need now, and then no worries. If you want to make payments, you can do that, but we don't require anything else until January. If you're ready to book, not right this minute because Mayflower offices are closed, but starting tomorrow, you can call Mayflower at this phone number. You'll mention the group 91902 Lee College, and they will be able to get you get your booking handled. Or again, you're more than welcome to also call Lee College, make your appointment to go visit, and have them help you with the booking if you choose. But we can take care of that right at Mayflower for you tomorrow morning. So thank you for your attention. I appreciate everybody, the opportunity to be here, and I'm so excited. I hope you guys get to go take in this bucket list trip to Kukenhof. I will take it back here and stop sharing, and I am going to hand it over to Kenny Judd, and he's with Colette, and most of you know him or were on last night, but he is going to take it away and talk about what. Can you tell us what you're doing? So it's
there we go. Sorry, having some unmute button is not working.
I can hear you.
You can.
Yep.
Okay, it was still showing me as muted. All right. Thank you, Michelle. All right, so we're going to be talking about multiple tours. We have Costa Rica, which is going to be January 24th through the 1st. We're going to have Britain and Ireland as well. Following that, I'm going to take a little break, kick it over to Kimberly before we come back. We're going to talk about Alaska. We're going to have the opportunity to, and then get into the Imperial Cities with Oberammergau, which I'm excited about as well. And so, Traveling well experience, that's what everybody wants to know. One of the things that I love is that we're not just talking about what we're going to be doing. It is something that we're already implementing it. We started running tours back on July 3rd. And so what that means is smaller groups, our tour managers are updated with the PPE. We are following all of the guidelines within the country, the city, as well as the CDC. We are going to have availability with the masks, as well as our motor coach with the vendors coming in and cleaning them, sanitizing each night. I talked about last night, over 90% of our people that have come back from our tours already are saying that they would not only travel and felt safe, but they would do it this year, because not only did they feel safe, they thought the experience was not diminished by any way. The on-tour experiences, as well as the insurance, we have given back a ton of money this year. And so the great thing about working with Colette is you never have to worry about it. Your money is always safe. And so we're excited to get that started. And a couple of things that we just ask, what can you do? Obviously, bring your own mask. We're going to have some that we send in the documents. Monitor your symptoms, wash your hands, maintain social distancing. I am in agreement with Michelle that by the time we get to 22, this is all going to be behind us and we're going to forget all about 2020. I like to pretend 2020 is kind of like the 13th floor on any of the hotels. It's kind of there, but we're not going to talk about it or discuss it. And so we're very excited. We were the first tour operator to get back out there and start traveling. We've implemented this, so it's not just about what we're going to do. It is what we are doing now. So we are not scared of the future. We're excited about it. And really what sets us apart, we're going to focus on three things. Number one, being your tour manager. If you have a bad tour manager, you're going to have a bad tour. They're kind of half your history professor, half your concierge. I'm really excited to talk about Costa Rica because they are all naturalists. There isn't a bug, a flower, a bird, any kind of the wildlife. They're going to tell you the history behind it. Number two really is the hotels, where you're staying, the locations. I never say city center because we're not always in the center. And this is a perfect example because we're staying in the Monteverde cloud forest. We're at Arnold near the volcano. We're moving around. So it's always strategic to the flow of the tour, but it is going to hit that 4- and 5-star experience. And as well as the third and maybe the most important part of any of our tours is always going to be the culinary aspect, getting you out into the local restaurants and really getting you out of the hotel and experience true cultural immersion, and always the worry-free booking, travel, transportation that's always provided for you. We'll get started with Costa Rica, which is 9 days. We have 14 meals that are included. We're going to fly into San Jose. It is the easiest gateway in and out of there. And then we're going to head out to the Pacific side. We're going to get 2 nights in the Guanacaste region, 2 nights in Monteverde, 2 nights in Arnold, as I mentioned, and we're going to come back to San Jose. This is one of the tours that absolutely in January, there is no better time. I don't care if you're living in Baytown, Houston, anywhere in southern Texas, it's still cold. And so we're ready to get a little bit warmer. And the best thing about this, it's a nice 3-hour flight right out of Houston. So very easy. So we'll fly into San Jose. We'll get started off. We'll have a blend of kind of life, picturesque nature, and we'll really get started with one of the experiences that I love, which is the coffee houses. And we're going to learn a lot about Costa Rica's experience here, as well as, it is regarded as some of the best coffee in the world. One of the first things that I saw, if you've ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Gene Wilder, by the way, not Johnny Depp. But they kind of do the same experiment with the beans that they do with the golden egg. If it's a bad bean, it goes over here. If it's a good egg, it goes over here. And it was funny because when we got to the end, there were 4 different piles. The first 3 they used, and the 4th one they kind of showed us, and they said, drink Folgers every day. That's your pile. So that kind of tells you how good the coffee is. You'll have the opportunity to bring some of that back. We will walk around the coffee plantation, learn about the history behind it, and kind of the influence in the Costa Rican economy as well. All the way from the seedbed to the roasting room, you're going to get the full experience. And as I mentioned, you can definitely bring some home. And then we're going to arrive in Guanacaste region, which is really known for its sandy beaches, beautiful shorelines. The Guanacaste region is the area where you really want to kick back and relax. We're going to give you a full day at leisure. We do have some options that are available here. For me, one of my favorite options is without a doubt the kayaking experience. A very leisurely paced, kayaking. So you're not in a big hurry. Don't worry about it. Very safe, but you're going to see a local guide that's going to take you throughout and really experience some of the wildlife. Or you can go out and dolphin watch and snorkel experience. This is a phenomenal experience. This probably ends up being everyone's favorite in this region. Or you can just sit back and relax. The resort is right on the ocean. You can walk across the street. There's shopping, there's restaurants, there's so much to do in the region. The following day, we're going to head out to Monte Verde. You do want to pack some kind of overcoat or rain jacket. I had a lady who went on this one time and came back and said, well, I was a little disappointed. And I said, well, why is that? And she said, well, it rained on me. I said, well, you're in the Monte Verde cloud forest, so it's definitely going to get a little damp on you. But the unbelievable experience here from the low-level clouds, the hanging bridges, and the wildlife is spectacular. And we're going to get a nature walk as we go through here. As I mentioned, all of the tour managers are naturalists. They're unbelievable. You're going to get to really take in the flora, the fauna, so much history behind here. And this is an area over here, the Monte Verde Cloud Forest ranges and consists over 26,000 acres. It has 6 ecological zones. And so it really, 90% of the forest is a virgin forest. And so that's one of the reasons that it has some of the unique wildlife in it, is because of the ecosystems. So we have a choice on tour today. It's already included, so you choose what you do. You can do the butterfly and hanging bridges walking tour, or you can take an adventure and go ziplining. We go to 6 to 7 different stops on the ziplining tour. I highly recommend it. It was one of my favorite things that we did. But if you are interested in the butterfly and hanging bridges tour, without a doubt, the gallery contains more than 100 beautiful hummingbirds, butterflies, over 1,000 species of butterflies, as well as the hanging bridges, which is a part of this tour. And I mentioned the ziplining tour. This is without a doubt a must do if you ask me. And don't worry, you don't have to do it alone. If you want, they can actually do a tandem zipline tour as well. During the winter months, many birds call Costa Rica home because of those ecological zones. And so coming throughout here, it's a very welcoming environment. The entire area is protected. And so the wildlife is very used to seeing the humans and the people. And there's no better time to go than in January. It is the best weather in Costa Rica. I've been 3 different times. On the following day, we're going to get to learn a little bit about Costa Rica and the conservation here in Monte Verde's reforestation area and some of the indigenous trees. Following that, we're going to travel through the beautiful mountainous landscapes as we head over to Arnold, which is an active volcano. But along the way, we're going to stop at the lake. And Lake Arnold here is the largest lake in Costa Rica. And the lake covers about 33 square miles. It's also very important. So it's not like a lake, as Lynn mentioned earlier. I love to get on Lake Hamilton here in Hot Springs. You have to have very specific passes to get on here because the lake itself produces 17% of the country's electricity. So we have the opportunity to get out and on the lake, learn a little bit about the area before observing the very famous volcano. During the cruise, you can see it, but as we arrive, we're going to be staying right down in the area. Every single room that we stay in, you have a beautiful view. And this was one of my favorite resorts. People go hiking here. This is one of the areas where I think it was about 30 years ago in 2010, actually generated a little bit of lava out of here. The resort, as I mentioned, everywhere you stay, and this is a great shot because you can see where we have breakfast every morning, but the pool itself, so they drain this every single night, and I would happen to be in it, and during the time, it was in May, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, we're in the playoffs, so I'm watching a little NBA basketball, and I can feel the water start to drain out, and they drain it every single night, and then they fill it the next day, actually with warm water from the geothermal pools. And so if you want that experience, you have it right here at the resort, and they have 4 other pools as well. Day 7, we're going to have the opportunity to head out and take a little cruise. And this is going to give you the largest viewable selection of some of the indigenous wildlife, beauty throughout, into the trees. Don't worry, it is covered, so it's going to be a little bit warmer. And of course, everybody has to see the sloth. There's over 78 mammal species, including the rare white-tailed deer. Here you can see the sloth having a little fun as he's sticking his tongue out at us. But throughout this tour, it really is the wildlife, the experience, the weather is phenomenal. Not to mention the Costa Rican people are some of the friendliest, most welcoming, and most knowledgeable people that you're going to come in contact with. So the tour manager will take you through there. You can see the howler monkey, the spider monkey, the white-faced monkeys, turtles, even the Jesus Christ lizard himself. And I can tell you these howler monkeys, They sound like they're about an 800-pound gorilla, and then all of a sudden you see one up in the tree and you think that little guy is the one making all the noise. Following day, we're going to have a little bit of leisure time. And as I mentioned, you're right here in the Arnold volcano. And so there is, you can have a full day of relaxing. You can visit the spa, or if you'd want to go out on a hike on your own, you have the ability to do that. Before we head back to San Jose, before we get to San Jose, we have the opportunity to stop off at Zarcero. And this is kind of a very unique area because of the gardens that you can see. There's over 120 tree sculptures throughout here. And some of the unique designs include octopus, elephants, giraffes, chickens, dinosaur, even people themselves that they've modeled out. And so it's very interesting. The sculpture and it is all by a local artist, Evangelista Lista Blanco. Does an unbelievable job, and this is always a great stop. We also get to take in San Jose's treasure on a panoramic tour and get to see the very bustling plaza, as well as the National Theater. And this is really a magnificent building of post-Baroque splendor. They spent a lot of money, and this was an important part of San Jose to really bring in some of the culture and the different aspects. And so they're very proud of the National Theater here. We'll spend a little bit of time. We'll have the opportunity to tour it. And then we will have a farewell dinner where we stay at the DoubleTree before we head out the following morning. So you will be able to toast to a fabulous trip in January, getting out of the cold, heading in, getting some great weather. But there is an extension. So if you're interested, you can have the opportunity to take an optional 3-night post tour. If you want the true jungle adventure, 4 days, there's 8 meals. We take a boat ride over here to stay in the cabins. This is actually a shot of the cabin that I stayed. And I can tell you, you want some highlights. There's monkeys running across the top of your cabin. They're walking along the railways here. Just an unbelievable experience. And you also get to learn about Tortuguero National Park, which is really, the national park is an entire study of the rainforest as well as freshwater marine biology. And so it really brings in and it protects over 350 species of birds, 111 species of reptiles, mammal. It is a phenomenal area and a great way to cap off a fabulous trip. You can book early and save $100. The deposit is $9.99. That also includes your insurance. It is 100% refundable up until July 28th. That includes your insurance. After July 28th, the only thing that you lose is the cost of the insurance. Your final payment is going to be on November 25th. Your total price, land, air, taxes, insurance, $3,133. You can go to the website and actually click on it if you're interested in and sign up right there through the website. You can call for bookings at this 800-581-8942. Just reference booking 1044026. I encourage you to go to the website on Lee College, click the sign up now. It'll take you right into the website. The insurance is including in all of the price, but when you're scrolling through the online reservation, you still have to select the insurance, but it's already included in the price. So go ahead and select that. We don't even let anybody traveling without the cancellation waiver. So here we go. We're going to jump into exploring Britain and Ireland. This tour we brought back after we moved everything over from 2020. It features so much more than just Britain and Ireland. You're getting England, Scotland, Wales. And it really is a phenomenal tour, one of our top sellers over the last 30 years. It's going to be 15 days, 20 meals. If you want it all, this is what you're going to get. We have that overnight flight. We're going to get 2 nights in London, maybe one of my favorite cities of all time because of the history behind it. 1 night in Cardiff. Yes, we go to Waterford, where you'll have the opportunity to visit the Waterford Crystal Factory and bring some of that home. 2 nights in Killarney, which if I ever retire and travel overseas and buy a house, that would be the village that I'm in. 2 nights in Dublin, 1 night in Cheshire. We're going to get 2 nights in Edinburgh, York for 1 before we head up to Stratford-Avon. So this is a tour, as I talked about. We're going to have that overnight flight. You're going to arrive in London in the morning. As all of my travelers at Lee College know, we're not going to go to sleep, so you have a little bit of free time. We're going to bring you in the evening, and we're going to have a welcome dinner. You're going to have the opportunity to get to know your tour manager a little bit better, learn about what is in store for us throughout, and get to know some of those travelers as well. We're going to discover with a panoramic local guided tour, as we have the opportunity to see that. We're going to see Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, Whitehall, Hyde Park, Buckingham Palace, where even you can mess with the soldiers if you want. I would advise against it. And of course, the Abbey here is known for the coronation, for the royal weddings. Prince William and Kate Middleton actually here. Following that, we're going to visit Buckingham Palace, which contains 775 rooms and really is a phenomenal stop. We do have an option into Windsor Castle if you're interested. It's about a 4.5-hour pre-sold option. It will not interfere with the tour. So in the afternoon, we have a little bit of leisure time. So if you're interested in that trip out to Windsor Castle, that will be available. And then day 4, we're going to travel to Stonehenge, one of the very mysterious formations, of course, dating all the way back to the Stone Ages. It really is one of those areas that you have to stop and see for yourself. For me, this is one of those things. Were there aliens? Were there not? I don't know. It looks like, I don't know who the people that would have put these stones together, dating 1,000 years back. And it actually started around 3000 BC. So we'll have the opportunity to stop off, spend a little bit of time learning about the stones before we continue to the very elegant Georgian town of Bath. And this is really to visit the Roman Bath museums, 2,000-year-old elaborate spas. I happen to live in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I've been to the Roman baths. They don't quite look like this. And so you have the opportunity to spend a little bit of time here. And the baths were built in 70 AD, and they still utilize the natural hot waters. And so a beautiful region here. We'll spend some time. You'll be able to see the unbelievable city, the cobblestone streets, and some of the 1700s architecture, as well as the city of Bath is known as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So for any of you historians out there, you're always going to want to visit those. Day 5, we're going to have a local expert take us through Cardiff at a very leisurely paced walking tour. And really, this city is known and has a deep tie to a lot of the coal industry. And so the people that have lived here really date all the way back to the Neolithic age. And it is home to, of course, the very famous Victorian shopping arcades. So for those who need that retail therapy, this is a great opportunity to do that. Following that, we're going to take in the beautiful countryside of Wales en route to the coastal village of Fishguard. And we're actually going to board a ferry on our way over to Ireland, crossing the Irish Sea. And the ferry ride itself takes about 3 hours or so. As we arrive here, we're going to head on into Waterford, where will be our home for the evening. So again, we have a choice on tour. So day 6, we're going to get started. You choose what you do that day. So you're going to have the flexibility to customize your experience. Me, as you heard, I played baseball. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma. If you graduated from OU, you had to love football. And so since I didn't play football, I had to go to the Waterford Crystal Factory and actually hold the national championship crystal ball that they make here. And so you'll have the ability to do that, or you can take a historic Waterford tour of the town itself, the region itself. And yes, the tour does go into the factory. You're going to learn some behind the scenes. And it's unbelievable because if they make one mistake, they completely melt it down and start all over again. Or you can, again, as I talked about, kind of that walking experience with the historic Waterford tour that'll kind of take you behind the scenes into the medieval aspect. You'll see some of the remnants of the Norman, the Cromwellian, as well as the Viking history that is behind there, as it is the oldest city in all of Ireland. Following that, we're going to visit the historic Blarney Castle. If you don't know what the Blarney Castle is famous for, if you kiss the Blarney Stone, you'll be given the gift of gab. When I had the opportunity to go down here, my wife was terrified. Being a salesperson, I already talk too much as it is. We lower you down the shaft here, and you do have the opportunity to kiss the Blarney Stone. I do recommend you bring your own sanitizer, as they will not be wiping it down after you kiss the stone. Also bring some very comfortable shoes. As you walk up the stairs, it can be a little bit tight. You have to remember these were built long ago. And there's a couple of fun stories of how this came about. For me, I love the story of the Earl of Leicester was supposed to take over the castle. He was Irish. He didn't want to attack it, so he kept sending back reasons not to. And the Queen got so fed up with it, she said it's a bunch of Blarney, hence the reason they call that the Blarney Stone. Following the evening, we're going to arrive into Killarney, and here we get diner's choice. And so you're going to get to choose the restaurant that you go to eat. I can tell you, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I've ever heard is that Ireland's food is not that great. I had the best venison steak I've ever had in Killarney, but you choose the restaurant that you go today. The tour manager will set up the arrangements. He's going to go over the best places to eat and all of your options. You'll let them know, and then they'll make the arrangements. Following day, we're going to get to explore Killarney National Park, and there's no better way to explore Killarney than by the Jaunting Irish car ride, which is obviously a jaunting car ride with a horse-drawn carriage through Killarney National Park, which gives you some unbelievable views. At certain times of the year, you can even see snow-peaked mountains, these beautiful valleys, right in it. I believe it is Ireland's first national park, as well as the best national park in Ireland. Following that, we're going to have the opportunity to head out to the glorious Ring of Kerry, which is about 110 circular mile drive. Throughout the drive, you're going to see clouds, and then all of a sudden they'll open up along this beautiful coastline, and the sun peers through. It is spectacular. We're going to arrive at the Gap of Dunloe. I always laugh because the very first tour that Colette ever sent me on was Australia, New Zealand. I was doing an unbelievable job. You know, I'm buying souvenirs for my wife and kids and brother, mother. I'm doing all these things. And as I sit there and look, I realize everything is made from China. And I thought, well, that doesn't do me any good. And so whenever I travel, I always want to make sure that I'm stopping off at true local crafts. And this is the great opportunity for you to do that. As we arrive at the Gap of Dunloe, we will visit a family-owned shop in here. The Irish goods are handcrafted. So this is the place that you want to do a little bit of shopping. I have a hat that I brought back. It is still the warmest hat that I wear every winter. It is what we would call the Scully look, but it is the warmest hat I have and absolutely love it. And then following that, we're going to head out and you're going to see the unbelievable views, the rolling hills. I think my favorite thing about the Ring of Kerry in Ireland is every time people come back, they say, it really is that green. And then we're going to head over and see the unbelievable border collies, some of the smartest dogs, and we're going to get to see what a family-run farm truly is and get a glimpse into the true Irish heritage as they're going to put on a demonstration for you. And then we're going to stop off at the rock, the Golden Vale, as we travel through here. And the historic rock of Cashel is one of those areas that, you know, is very historic. And this is where St. Patrick preached and converted the King of Munster. Of course, according to legend, the rock is the site where St. Patrick actually banished Satan from the area. So we'll have the opportunity to stop off, spend some time here before we arrive in the exciting city of Dublin, with time to discover kind of all the charm and everything that it has. Following get started, we'll have a guided tour as we have a local guide that will take us through some of the areas. Of course, St. Patrick's Cathedral, O'Connell Street, Grafton Street, Phoenix Park, and all that it has. You know, and Grafton Street is really known as the hotbed, the shopping street of Dublin. You'll see popular stores as well as local shops, walkways, street performers, everything that's happening in Dublin. And then we'll give you a little bit of time to explore out on your own. So we'll break up some of that touring with some of the leisure time, and you'll perhaps kind of check out some of those local things. I will say there's about 800 plus pubs throughout. And one of the things that I always tell my people about going to Ireland is, listen, pubs in America are known as bars. There is a great place to see live entertainment, food, music, fun, all the things that are happening in the area. And so you have the ability to do that. Before we bring you back, and we're going to actually visit one of Dublin's premier culinary institutions, and we're going to take a cooking class. So I talked about getting you out into the local and trying the food. There's no better way to immerse you in the culture than having a cooking class. And of course, you'll get to kind of give your own little twists to some of the traditional Irish cuisine. And we're going to have dinner following that. And then top off the evening with your very own Irish coffee, which is, of course, hot coffee, Irish whiskey, sugar, stirred with a little bit of cream, and, of course, one of Ireland's most popular drinks. Day 10, we're going to take a ferry across the Irish Sea as we head over into Wales. And so this region will pass along the longest name in the world. I will not even attempt to pronounce it. The ferry ride takes us a couple hours as we arrive at one of the favorite castles here in Wales. And of course, this is where Charles was crowned the Prince of Wales. The history dates all the way back to the 1200s. and was built during the Second War of the Welsh Independence and serves as the administrative house of the Wales. Then we're going to continue through the Welsh countryside, which really is spectacular. If you've never been, this is kind of the area in the UK that is really known for its countryside and the scenery in all of Britain before arriving. And we're going to get you out in the local restaurant. We're going to experience a traditional English carvery. Amazing meal this evening, as we're going to have the opportunity to do that. Following that, we're going to head to England's Lake District. And some of the regions here you'll see is full of the mountainous regions in the background. Very famous for its lakes, its mountains, as well as its forests. Following that, we're going to cross into Scotland, and we're going to stop off at the Gretna Green. And this town is the marriage capital of the UK. Generations of runaways would elope to run here. Around 5,000 couples get married here every single year. So if you're looking to tie the knot or want to have an anniversary, what a great place to go and do that. Before arriving at Edinburgh, Scotland's majestic city, you can see kind of just the views throughout this. It has a great mix of kind of new age living, but very much the old town, new town feel. Is the capital of Scotland and has been since 1437. The following day, we're going to get started with a choice on tour. Again, you choose, you get to customize that experience. We'll have a panoramic tour of the city, or you can have an expert-led walking tour, very leisurely paced. Panoramic tour will take us along kind of by motor coach, or again, you can have it by foot, and we will arrive at the same destinations. Both tours include a visit to the Edinburgh Castle, which looms over the city. And if you've ever been here, this is really one of those magical areas. Right up on the top of the mountain, overlooking the city, we'll have the opportunity to learn about the historic fortress, the crown jewels, the royal castle that has stood here since the 12th century. And on either tour, you'll have the chance to see the palace of the Holyrood House as well. And the castle itself is the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland, Queen Elizabeth II. Remainder of the day, you're going to have at leisure, kind of relax and explore out on your own. I will tell you to try some of that unbelievable food. And then the following day, we're going to head out, and en route to England, we're going to visit Hadrian's Wall. And this is construction of the ancient structure began in AD 122. It was built right here on the guard of the north and the west frontier of the Roman Empire, and it stretches 73 miles from coast to coast. We'll have the opportunity to see that, and then we'll visit York, where we'll have the opportunity to have one night here. We'll give you a little bit of free time, and I will tell you, this is one of the cities you want to go get lost down the alleyways, walking and exploring. It's a walled-in city that was founded by the ancient Romans, and you'll be able to kind of walk the famous shambles and see the area and the magnificent views. The shambles kind of refers to the twisting, narrow lanes. As you can imagine, not much of a grid system here, but this is a great area, as I mentioned, to kind of go get lost, spend some time, do a little bit of exploring out on your own. And then day 14, we'll wrap up our tours. We kind of head into the medieval market town of England's West Midlands. And here we get to visit Shakespeare's former home. This is the 16th century birthplace, of course, of possibly one of the most famous writers in all of the English language. In the afternoon, you get a choice on tour. So again, you choose what you do. You can take a little Avon River cruise or visit Anne Hathaway's cottage tour. No, not the actress. It, of course, is Shakespeare's wife, the childhood home. We'll have a local guide take you through there. You can visit the thatched roofed cottage, or as I mentioned, kind of take in Avon from a little bit of a different perspective along the river here. The river itself stretches about 85 miles. We're going to bring you back this evening. You're going to have an unbelievable farewell dinner. We will toast to a fabulous trip before we head over at one of the local restaurants. We will say goodbye and depart on our way, truly seeing as much of the UK as possible. What are you waiting for? Deposit is $999, fully refundable up until November 12th. Final payment will be March 12th of 2022. Total price, including the insurance, taxes, land fee, air out of Houston, $5,563. Please call for bookings at 800-581-8942. Reference booking 104-3973. Or as previously mentioned, please go to the website where you'll have the opportunity to click the link and you can sign up there. We have a registration form on there. You can print that out and fill it up. The link itself will not be activated. It is coming soon, but we do have the sign up sheet on there that you can print off and fill out. So With that being said, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to pass it over to our friend Kimberly, who did an unbelievable job last night. I think she's going to tell us a little bit about Idaho. And so with that being said, I want to thank everybody, and I'll be back soon.
Okay, now you can. I think it kind of did the same thing that yours did, probably. Okay. All right, guys. Yes, I am Kimberly, and let me get mine going here for you. Right here. Well, it should be. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, still learning this, guys, still learning it. All right, here we are. Okay, and it's a slideshow view for you. All right. Yay! Okay, so welcome. We are at the virtual travel showcase again, and welcome to Idaho. We're going to be doing 7 days, 6 nights in the Idaho area. Now, this is going to be the only, for 2022, the only land domestic tour that you're going to be able to jump up on. So this is going to be our Idaho Lewis and Clark Adventure Discovery. Once again, you've got the 3 reasons to sign up within the next 3 days for Premier World Discovery. Those incentives include, of course, you're going to have that 50 off of your deposit. So instead of $300, again, it's only going to be $150 once you sign up within the next 3 days, and those 3 days ends into business Thursday. Also, that deposit is fully refundable up until final payment, which is 75 days out. And I'll give you that date here in a bit, and then we're doubling your booking discount, of course. So going from just $100 in 2022 to $200. Now that is major for you because it's far out enough, but we still want to have those savings, right? So make sure you are signing up within the next 3 days. Again, these are only good for the next 3 days. Real quick about Premier World Discovery, we are part of the USTOA Travel Association. Now that's similar to like in banking, like FDIC is what USTOA is to the travel industry. So you are fully covered when you are traveling with Premier World Discovery, absolutely. So what is the Premier World Discovery difference? Okay, what does premier mean? Well, that means like top level, first class, number one, absolute. And that's the kind of service that we want to provide for you. And it doesn't only show in our hotel accommodations. No, though we do strive for 4-star or better, except for in some of our tours, maybe they don't have 4-star. But we always want to go 4-star or better. That's premier. But it also shows in our tour guides. We've got professional tour guides. A lot of times these well-educated, well-mannered, eloquent speaking, and fully trained professional tour guides actually live in the areas. So they're able to kind of give you the wink, wink, nudge, nudge information that you might want to know about that maybe Wikipedia has no idea. Only the people down in the trenches know. So those are our kinds of professional tour guides. Real quick, we don't know what's going to happen in 2022, but for right now, this is what we're doing. Pre-health tour screening, we're going to be having our groups a little bit smaller. Our tour director is going to be able to be fully trained in terms of any kind of emergency that may happen on tour. Face coverings, we are going to be requiring face masks for sure in the motor coach. Outside, no worries. And our motor coach will be sanitized, definitely. So we're going to have just a great time. Again, we're not going to know what's going to happen in 2022. So let's get right on into it. Idaho Adventure. So we are going to do, again, 7 days, 6 nights. And this is going to be, we're going to be flying into Spokane and then out of Boise. Here's a quick list of your highlights right there. Idaho, it's somewhere that you don't really think about going on vacation, but just wait. Your meals are going to include 6 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 3 dinners. That's a lot of meals to be included in this tour, of course. We got 6 nights accommodations, 2 nights in Coeur d'Alene. If you haven't been to Coeur d'Alene, you certainly want to, and I'll show you that here in a bit. 2 nights in Riggins and 2 in Sun Valley, the Sun Valley Lodge. This is good times, guys. Here It's Coeur d'Alene. Welcome. Oh my goodness, talk about resort living. The downtown area is only 5 minutes away from the actual resort itself. And because this is, it's on, it's lakeside, so it's lakefront. And no matter what room you get or suite you get, you're going to have a fantastic view, whether it's of the lake or whether it's of the downtown area, because downtown is only a 5-minute walk away. And I mean, look at those rooms. Again, 4-star or better is the premier World Discovery difference. And then your amenities. Look, it's a floating golf green. Are you kidding me? How fun is that? You'll have plenty of time to experience that and maybe try your luck at that. I believe it's the 14th hole, as a matter of fact. Then we're going to get into Wallace, the city of Wallace. Now, this place is known for being a little rough and tumble, okay? Back in the 1880s, it was the original Sin City. So they're going to have bordello museums, and it's going to be fun to just kind of walk around. But definitely, the reason why I had this manhole covering you, because you're probably wondering, it is the official center of the universe. Yeah, I know. Take a picture with it. There's also going to be a sign there as you're walking around Wallace, but it is the official center of the universe. And there is a proclamation for it. The mayor got it done in 2004. So take a picture with that. Also, mining. Yes, Wallace is known for their silver mines. They were huge in silver mining. So we are going to take you on an experience. This is going to be immersing you again in these experiences. That is the premier World Discovery difference. We're going to get you down into the mines. You're going to don the hard hats. You probably touch some of the machinery. Don't worry. Some of you ladies and gents who may not be able to stand some of the noise that you may hear, or maybe some of the smells or whatnot, you can stay upstairs. It'll be totally fine. This is going to be so awesome and a rocking good time. I tell you what. And then our food, our lunches, our dinners, they are themed out. And because we're going to be in this area, we wanted to give you something that you could not just go down the street and walk in and give a reservation for. No. What we've done here is we're going to be taking you to Ryder Ranch. This is a private ranch, okay? And so Linda, I called her today just to make sure everything's all set. She is going to be having a wagon ride for you. And then once you're done with the wagon ride and being told about her ranch, because again, it is private, then she's going to invite you over for a steak buffet. Everything is homemade down to the corn, to the biscuits. Everything is just made out there, and even the dessert. Oh my goodness, the ice cream a la mode, or excuse me, the pie a la mode. Phenomenal. So this is going to be a really great treat. And Linda is a hoot. So just she'll have you in stitches. I'm telling you, she's hilarious. And then again, excursions galore. This tour is for the mover and shaker in you. The jet boat excursion on the Salmon River. Not only are you going to have a great time just riding the rapids on the jet boats, but they're going to stop at certain areas along the Snake River and or Salmon River, and you'll be able to learn more about the history, about some of the miners that came, some of the Native Americans that were there, and then see some of the wildlife, like this bighorn sheep and the bears and the bald eagles. This is going to be a treat, guys. This is going to be one you want to look out for in 2022. Our journey from place to place. This is not a sleeping tour. No, you sleep when you get back home. That's what your desk and your bed is for. This is a tour to be peered open, wide-eyed, and looking at the Sawtooth Mountains. There's a reason why they penned the song America the Beautiful, because this is the Purple Mountains Majesty right here. This is where you're getting, ladies and gentlemen, even while you're just traveling in the motor coach. It's phenomenal. And then again, Sun Valley. This is a resort. It's nestled in greenery there in the area, in the mountains, in a valley tucked in there. And you've got plenty of pools. We're not going to go hungry here. There's 17 restaurants on site. Are you kidding me? 17. And they're all themed out as well. Whether you want to eat outside or inside, have maybe some brandy and cigars or whatnot, they're all themed out. They're all for everyone to be able to tempt their tummies or whatnot. This is going to be a fabulous, fabulous resort to be staying at. There's a reason why Clint Eastwood comes here often. Nearby Sun Valley is the city of Ketchum. Ketchum, it's known for, because it's near the Bald Mountains, it's known for its skiing, it's known for shopping, hiking, but it's also well known for the burial place and the home of Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway is buried here. We will take you to the home. We will take you to his burial place. Now, the reason why people drop pennies there, well, I'll tell you in another presentation, but it's a fascinating story. All right, so we're going to return home through Boise, Idaho. This is going to be fantastic, and this is going to be your Lewis and Clark adventure, an Idaho adventure. 7 days, 6 nights. Look at that temperature. That temperature is fantastic because in June, we are creeping up in triple digits here in Texas, so why not 74, 85, and 71, right? Yes, of course. It's going to be fabulous. And here is your pricing. Now, again, your pricing includes the round trip airfare from Houston, the taxes, and that travel protection plan. Regular rate $36.60 with the booking discount. Again, only if you sign up within the next 3 days will you get the extra $200 off at final payment. Okay, 3 days, $200 off to make it $34.60 overall. You'll be departing June 12th through the 18th in 2022. Now, you might be saying, gosh, this is such a long time. Why am I going to put deposit out so early? Because it's only $150 and it's risk-free. That's worry-free. That's stress-free. You have your final payment is going to be March 29th. And so you've got that risk-free up until then. So even if you stub your toe or something and you just want that $150 back and you decide against the tour, which you're not going to, then you can ask for that $150 back. No questions asked, no worries. Again, it is all part of the next 3 days, okay? Keep that in mind. So let's go back to what we talked about yesterday, 2021, all right? That was 2022, but we're in the 2021 this year, right? Or next year. 6 days, 5 nights, national parks and canyons of the Southwest. Remember, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon West and the Skywalk right there. You want to experience that in April, this coming April. It's going to be in and out of Vegas. You're going to see the hoodoos there in the canyon in Bryce Canyon. And then, of course, you're going to be seeing all the wonderful formations there in the Valley of Fire in Nevada. This is going to be something you cannot miss. Again, in and out of Vegas, there are your highlights. Zion-is part of it. Bryce Canyon's part of it. 2 nights in Vegas, 3 nights in Mesquite. Fantastic pricing. Don't forget that one. 7 days, 6 nights in the Black Hills Badlands and Legends of the West. This is all about Mount Rushmore. This is all about one hotel. You are going to unpack once, and that's it. We're going to be in and out of Rapid City, okay? All of your days and nights are going to be there at the hotel, the Holiday Inn there. It's all about Mount Rushmore. You're going to do that Buffalo Jeep Safari. Don't forget that. We're going to have a Chuck Wagon supper out there. We're going to be on an 1880 train ride. Deadwood, okay, the same streets, wooden planks that Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok walked. You're going to be there. And in the Badlands National Park to see all those life-size sandcastles. What? This is fantastic. All next year. And you'll be departing June 9th through the 15th next year, 2021. It's fantastic. 7 days, 6 nights, Black Hills, Badlands, and Legends of the West. Don't forget that one. 9 days, 8 nights, Colorado Rockies, Rails, and Western National Parks, departing August 15th through the 23rd of next year. This one's about, you want to be there for Vail, okay, Vail Village. You want to be there, which is a little Bavarian village in Colorado. 2 train excursions, the Royal Gorge, the Olympic Training Center. There's 4 national parks that you're going to. I mean, this is one that will one of y'all invite me, please? I want to go on this one. Don't forget to sign up for this one as well. Again, this is next year, August 15th through the 23rd, 2021. And finally, wrapping up, putting a big, nice Christmas bow on 2021 is 5 days, 4 nights, Montreal and Quebec City Christmas markets. We are bringing the German Christmas markets here to Quebec, which is closer, so we can stay nestled in our North American areas. This is 2 nights. It's all about the Fairmont properties. 5-star. Remember, I said Premier World Discovery is about 4-star and above. This is 5-star hotels. The Fairmont properties, the Chateau Frontenac, the Queen Elizabeth in Montreal. We're going to have a train ride on the Via Rail. You're gonna see Notre Dame, the underground city. You're going to visit Montmorency Falls, and then of course all of the Christmas markets. Get the family, tell them that for this next year, Christmas in 2021, we are going to Canada because we cannot stay home any longer. Get the family, let's sign up. Here is how you sign up. Here's your reservation number for Premier World Discovery. Those of y'all who do have vouchers, make sure when you call this 800 number, talk to Melissa Grant. Put that in your head, Melissa Grant. She is the one that knows about your vouchers. She is the one that knows how much your vouchers are. Those of y'all who want to go to sign up like right now, get online, go to res.premierworlddiscovery.com. You will need these web codes for national parks, Black Hills, Colorado Rockies, the Christmas markets, and Idaho Adventure. Those web codes right there, you'll need those if you're going to go through our website. Idaho Adventure, you'll have to call and ask Melissa all about that one. Because it is a little too far. We don't necessarily have that web code just yet. If you just want more information about each tour because maybe you missed yesterday, which you shouldn't have because it was amazing. Kenny and I just blew it out the water. Then go to the lee.edu/workforce website. It has all the information there. You'll be able to look at even my videos. I self-produce these videos. If you're not tired of my voice, you'll hear my voice, okay? So I have all of these videos. Everything that I talked about yesterday is going to be entailed into that YouTube video that is on that Lee College website. So make sure you get going, guys. Again, within the next 3 days, okay, you're able to take advantage of $200 off a flyer, half off your deposit, and of course, risk-free, travel-free, worry-free, stress-free. That's the Premier World Discovery difference. All right, and we also have wrapped into your pricing the travel protection plan. That is going to take care of you prior to the tour and of course during the tour as well. If you have more questions about that, definitely email Lynn or Naomi, and they will be able to answer those questions or tap me for any answers. All right, guys, I am going to send it right back to my good buddy, Mr. Kenny Judd, so that he can get going on some of his other fabulous tours. Kenny.
All right. Thank you, Kimberly. All right. So we'll finish up. We got a couple more tours and then we'll get everybody out of here. We're going to start off with Alaska. I can tell you without a doubt, this is one of those tours that is the most repeated tours that we have. And so 82% of the people that actually travel to Alaska, and I apologize, I accidentally clicked out of that. 82% of the people that travel to Alaska return. And so, as you know, with 2020, with COVID, it took a gigantic hit. We're very excited about getting this started where we are going to do land and cruise. We have 12 days that are 25 meals. We're going to get rolling with this. We do utilize and partner with Princess on this. We're going to fly into Fairbanks. We have 2 nights at Denali National Park. We're actually staying at the resort that is owned by Princess. Then we're going to get 1 night in Denali before we board our ship and have a cruise down inside the passage all the way into Vancouver before we fly out. As I mentioned, you know, Alaska is one of those destinations. You just have to go. If you've never been, it's unbelievable. And if you have been, well, it's the most repeated in the world, so you might as well go again. So we'll get started off in Fairbanks. It is the largest city in the region. And the city was kind of founded as a temporary trading post in the 1900s. We'll have the opportunity to step aboard as you fly in. We'll get everybody settled in. Then the following day, we're going to get headed on, and we'll start off with a little sternwheeler discovery. We'll take the steamboat tradition that kind of dates all the way back to the 1800s. We'll get to cruise along the river and the majestic scenery, the beautiful Denali National Park as we get onto our motor coach and start heading in to the incredible Denali, the North America's tallest mountain along the way. And of course, the name of the mountain translates to the high one in the language of the Athabascan tribe. And so it towers over 20,000 feet above sea level. We will arrive at our hotel in the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. We'll have an opportunity to stay here at this rustic, beautiful lodge right in the heart of the mountains and right in the national park. And what better way to kind of introduce you to Denali than actually having an authentic Alaskan meal at Fannie Q's Saloon, inspired by the famous mining pioneer Fannie Q Quigley. We're going to have a great meal here. Following day, we're going to head out and we'll travel deep into Denali National Park, kind of get to see that tundra wilderness tour. We'll have the ability to see it is fully narrated by our tour managers. We'll really learn the history of the park as well as the wildlife. throughout, you're going to have the opportunity to see the Big Five of Alaska. So we know the Big Five in Africa. The Big Five in Alaska are going to be your brown bear, your moose, caribou, wolves, and gull sheep. We'll spend the rest of the day in the afternoon at leisure. We'll relax in the hotel. Maybe you can take a scenic stroll outside the hotel or do a little shopping in the gift cabin. After breakfast the following day, we're going to begin our day with a scenic train ride to Kalkitna. And this is the population is less than 1,000 people. The village is really beloved for the natural beauty and a little bit of a quirky personality. And by that I mean the cat named Stubbs was the town's mayor for 19 years. We'll view the incredible landscape from a glass ceiling domed rail car. And it really has the open air observation platforms. And we'll have rail guides kind of provide some of the commentary as we travel throughout. And then we say hello to Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. Again, right here, we'll have the opportunity to stay here overnight, right in the comfy Alaskan Lodge, which offers unbelievable views, spectacular throughout. Day 5, we'll depart and we're going to head towards our ship, but we'll have the opportunity to stop off along Anchorage. And Anchorage here is Alaska's largest city and enjoys up to 19 and a half hours of daylight in the summer. If you're a baseball player, this was one of the places that you wanted to get invited to in the summer. I had the opportunity to travel up here, play a little baseball. It was the Cape Cod League and the Alaskan Summer League because you can literally be playing baseball at midnight during the summertime. And we'll continue on. We'll drive past the Alaska Range before we pass into the Glacier Fjord. And here we're going to really get into the Gulf of Alaska. We're going to board our ship where we'll have the opportunity to stay over the next 7 nights in a Princess cruise, which we know is going to have so much fun, activities, and food. Now be careful. The leisure activities aboard the Princess can include a little bit of gambling, a casino, there's a fitness center, spa, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included, and entertainment nightly. Aboard here on day 6, we're going to really start into the Mammoth Hubbard Glacier, one of Alaska's really unique advancing glaciers. And so the Tidewater Glacier is really known for the large chunks of ice and the thunderous cracks into the sea. And so you'll want to have your camera ready to take pictures as we cruise along there. Day 7, we'll kind of arrive into the Glacier Bay, which is a spectacular national park preserve here. Again, those Tidewater glaciers, snow-capped mountains, unbelievable fjords and beauty, the ocean coastlines, and of course we know the salmon in the region, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And we'll have the opportunity to see kind of the remnants of the last of the park's 4 glacial periods. The ice at the front of the glacier is anywhere between 75 to 200 years old. So the ice you see breaking off while you cruise actually could be snow that fell in the mountains back in the 1700s. So taking a little bit step back in history. Day 8, we'll stop in Skagway, where you'll have the opportunity to relive the gold rush days, take a little bit of step back. So gold in the Yukon was kind of the saying. You could be heard from all over, and it is home to the Chilkoot Trail, which is a popular hiking trail, as well as a rainforest zone. Little town kind of changed dramatically, of course, when gold was found in the Klondike region in 1896. By the turn of the century, the population was estimated to be anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000. Today, the residents kind of reside around 1,000. We do have some options, one of them being the Skagway Tour and Summit Overlook, where you'll have the opportunity to see some historical highlights, including Gold Rush Cemetery, where you'll see the legendary con artist and gangster who was laid to rest here. Following that, day 9, we'll arrive and get to see Juneau, Alaska's capital. Despite being the capital, this kind of remote city can only be reached by boat or seaplane. And so Juneau is really known for the mining and fishing area. The rush kind of between 1916 and 1944, and really is the backyard with the 1,500-mile glacier field bordering Canada. We'll choose to explore on our own, or perhaps you can purchase a tour here in Juneau. You can do can't do all of these, one of them being a jet boat whale watching opportunity, perhaps a helicopter and glacier walk tour, a dog sled and helicopter flight. For me, that would probably be my favorite. I'd have to definitely do that because you're going to be able to see the amazing Juneau ice fields that border Canada, as well as some of the glaciers in the mountains. And who doesn't love a good helicopter ride and a nice little dog sledding adventure? Day 10, we're going to arrive in Ketchikan, which is Alaska's most southeastern city. It's located kind of right on the island here, which is the 12th largest island in the U.S. It's really known as the salmon capital of the world, as well as the city of totems. Here is home to the world's largest collection of totems. Who is that in the picture we got there? That looks like a Lynn Foley, and I believe that is her fantastic husband, Dan. And this is one of the most popular spots that you can visit in Ketchikan. I couldn't resist doing a presentation without throwing Dan and Lynn in there as well. We'll have a wonderful sightseeing on day 11 as we sail along the Inside Passage. This route extends from southeastern Alaska through western British Columbia and also into northwestern Washington state. The whole area is really known for its natural beauty, wildlife throughout, before our cruise kind of comes to an end and we arrive in in Vancouver, which for me is located, right on the West Coast. If you've never been to Vancouver, this is one of the stops that we have a lot of people really talk about, doing a couple of extra nights, staying in Vancouver, enjoying that. Some of the famous areas include Stanley Park, Chinatown, Gastown, and Granville Island. In 2010, I believe this was the perfect place in Vancouver here for the 2010 Olympics. The Winter Olympics. So we'll end our tour here and you'll have the opportunity to stay over if you want. Taking in Alaska, as I mentioned, the #1 most repeated destination. What are you waiting for? This is all the way in 22. We're going to go in August. We do not have set dates in August because we're waiting on Princess to release the travel dates, but we are definitely going to go in August. The deposit is $1,249 per person. That is 100% refundable up until February 1st. That includes your insurance, everything at Colette. As you always know, you can cancel and get 100% of your money back, less the insurance. If you cancel before February 1st, you even get the insurance back. Your final payment will be due in April. So the price today for an inside cabin is $6,851. As always, you can call for bookings. We put the registration form online. You can reference booking 104-3788, or you can call at 800-581-8942. And if you book an outside cabin, you receive a free balcony upgrade. So take advantage of that. I always tell everybody that is upon availability. So if you know you're going to go on this tour, get your name, get your deposit in for an outside balcony or outside cabin so you can get that free balcony upgrade, because they do go fast. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit to something that only happens every 10 years. Now, I say that because it usually happens every 10 years, but I think that we're going to stop just for a second here. And Lynn, do you want to jump in? Maybe not. We lost her. Okay. So I'm going to continue.
Everybody, I bet you thought I was napping. I'm not. When I saw that photo of Dan and I on one of the 4 Colette Alaska tours, I went, oh my gosh, that was about 15, 16 years ago. But it's a great tour, so think about it. I did want to show you, though, that, and Ramiro, could you give me more screen so that people could see what I'm showing them? I did want to tell you that we normally have pre-tours, we have we have pre-tour meetings, and we have document meetings, and we have after-tour parties. So you will be getting an email from myself and from the CE department telling you your first pre-tour meeting. You'll come to the college, COVID safe, of course, and this will be in the new year, talking about the 2021 trip that you've signed up for, or the 2022 trip. While you're there, you may also get one of our little lanyards where we keep our money and our passport, pens and pencils. And I would love to give you one of our Lee College fans, because, everywhere we go, we're going to be on the bus. We're going to be walking. We need a little bit of fan air, so we'll be doing that. That will be a gift for you. Colette and Premier also sometimes give me little gifts and door prizes, so we'll see what we do on that front. And I also want to tell you that we have an after tour party, and that is something that my husband and I host at my house. And we have a little wine, cocktails, appetizers, hors d'oeuvres. We all look at some of these big boards that I have behind me. I take some of the photos on my phone and I blow them up And then the college creates a video for us and we show that. So those are things to be looking forward to. I know we're running a little bit late, but we have a fabulous tour coming up, and then Dana will come back on screen. Thank you.
All right. So as I mentioned, this is something that happens every 10 years. Obviously, COVID stopped this, and I'm so excited that they have brought it back in 2022, which is the Passion Play. Not only are we doing the Passion Play with this, but we're going to choose probably one of my favorite tours that we have. It was the very first tour that I took my wife on, which is the Imperial Cities. And the reason that I loved it so much is because of truly the cities that we have the opportunity to visit. We're going to have an overnight flight. We're going to start off in Budapest. We're going to have 2 nights there. We're going to get 2 nights in Vienna, Austria. Then we're going to follow down to Prague, probably one of the greatest cities in all of Central Europe. We're going to get 2 nights in the Oberrammergau region with the Passion Play before we head back into Munich. And as I talked about, this tour, the cities are unbelievable. The history behind it, you always know it's a great tour. And whenever I went in, I did a little poll at the end of it, and I said, what was your favorite city? And it was literally split in thirds. Some people fell in love with Vienna. Some people fell in love with Budapest, and some people fell in love with Prague. And it was that difficult to say which was your favorite city because all of them are amazing. We'll have the overnight flight. We're going to get started with our tour. We'll have a welcome dinner. You're going to have a local expert take us through kind of the city to really bring it to life for you and discover Matthias Church here, which is the site of many coronations of the kings. And the other thing from here is you see the entire city. It sits up on the hill, gives you some unbelievable views. Of course, Fisherman's Bastion with its white walls, the towers, the arcades, so many different plazas, and such a beautiful city. Here we'll continue the historic Buda. And so Pest is one side, Buda is with the other. Most people don't realize that the river running through here actually splits it. You can see the Parliament building, which is very much replicated of course, our Parliament building in London that we all love. We'll have the opportunity to visit the Heroes Square, which is really imposing, the Millennium Monument, which is completed in 1904, that memorializes the 1000th anniversary of the Hungarian Dominion, and it is spectacular having the opportunity to walk through here. The square, there's always tons of people taking in the statues, that all that it has to offer. We'll leave Budapest behind, and we're going to get to visit and get to know the city's history on an expert-led tour in Bratislava. And so you can come right up here. We'll have a scenic ride through the countryside. You'll be able to see some of the beautiful views here in Bratislava. It really it brings it to life, and it's such a small, unique little town that sits right on the river. Very easy to walk through in Old Town before we arrive, and we'll come through the countryside into the grand city of Vienna, the former capital of the Austria-Hungarian Empire, and really magical here. You can see the Hofburg Palace here in Vienna. This is known as the Winter Palace, not to be confused with the fantastic Schönbrunn Palace, which was the Summer Palace here. Tonight, we're going to enjoy dinner at one of featuring regional wine in one of the local restaurants, and a meal really highlighting some of the local cuisine. I had the most unbelievable meal here. I had some Wiener Schnitzel, which was just spectacular in Vienna. And then we're going to have a local resident have the opportunity to take us to that beautiful Schönbrunn Palace, which was the summer retreat of the Habsburg dynasty here for more than over 200 years. You go from winter to summer. They're only about 20 miles from each other. But of course, taking those by carriage back in the days took a little bit longer. Then we're going to continue to Vienna city center en route, and just unbelievable architecture, the scenic parks, the Gothic spires, the history that really fill this city. And we're going to end the day with an unforgettable classical music concert featuring many fine melodies from the great composer Mozart and Strauss. So there's no better way to really immerse yourself in the culture by having an unbelievable experience there. Then we're going to depart Vienna. We're going to head into the Czech Republic, really to kind of that fairy tale type town of Český Krumlov. And this is always everybody's little favorite stop that we have. It's definitely a highlight on the way. We'll have a little bit of free time to explore out unbelievable Baroque architecture, and the streets that are lined here very well preserved, so easy to walk as you have a little bit of time. But then we'll arrive in Prague, known as the Golden City, the city of 100 spires. You have 3 to 4 different bridges that connect one side of the city to the other, as you can see. And one of the things that I love is walking across these bridges. There's street performers, there's artists, and there's all kinds of things happening in the background. You can see the beautiful castle that we have the opportunity to visit. We will have an introduction with this fairy tale city with a panoramic tour that will get started. We stay right in the heart of Old Town. So even during free time, you have the opportunity to go out. And what I love is during this time, you can sit down in the cafes, you can people watch everywhere, and your dollar goes a very long way in Prague. We'll explore, of course, the majestic Hadrianic Castle, which sits over top of the city overlooking, and then we'll visit the Gothic St. Vitus Cathedral, beautiful architecture, that very much Gothic style that we'll learn a little bit about. And then you'll be able to stroll along the colorful Golden Lane throughout Prague. It really is. The Charles Bridge here is probably the most famous, just lined with statues. And as I said, for me, this was one of the opportunities. Just walking around the city was enough. The food goes a long way. And just so you know, for those beer lovers out there, Czech beer, some of the best out there. We'll give you a little bit of free time in the afternoon to explore out on your own. There is many outstanding museums, beautiful stone sculptures throughout, dating all the way back to the 11th century. And then the following day, we're going to really get to head to the countryside of Bavaria and arrive here in Oberammergau. And, this village is so special. I had the opportunity to travel there in 2017. And it's situated right there in the Bavarian Alps. There's about 5,000 people in the entire village. And so, the Passion Play is something that is very, very special. It started back so long ago with the Black Plague sweeping through. And, the entire village, half the village had been wiped out. And so, they prayed that if no more people died, they would honor the story of Jesus with, the story of the Passion Play. And it has happened every 10 years. It's an unbelievable experience. You have to be from Oberammergau or been married into for more than 20 years to be a part of it. It's part of their heritage. It's part of their passion. And so we'll have a kind of a morning of relaxation. You can walk the village, very walkable, very easy. As I mentioned, very small village right here. And then we'll head into the Passion Play. And of course, we have some of the best seats in the house. We were the number one producer in 2010, and we'll get to truly witness a performance of epic proportions. And the theater, the acoustics, the people, it is spectacular. I can't say enough about it. The story of Christ in honor, and from the children all the way up, it's an unbelievable experience to be Jesus. You only have about a 20-year window, but 2 plays to actually have the opportunity to do that. And so we had the ability to go and do a tour. Jesus actually gave us a tour as we walked around, went backstage, toured the entire theater, and learned so much about the region and the true love that they have for this play and how important it is. In 2010, there was over 500,000 people that enjoyed this, and it really is one of those unbelievable once-in-a-decade opportunities. So, it's a little bit unique. We had the ability to move it over from 2020 to 2022, and so it will have a little bit of a break in performance, and then we'll have the opportunity to come back after dinner and finish up the play. And it is something that you will never forget. The following day, we're going to head to Munich, which is, the exciting capital of Bavaria. We're going to really feel the energy of this lively city during a tour, which will highlight Olympic Park, the world-famous Glockenspiel, Marienplatz, as well as a beautiful square surrounded by shops, restaurants, cafes. We're going to have an unbelievable farewell dinner celebrating not just a fabulous trip, but a trip of a lifetime that only happens once every 10 years. This is my all-time favorite Passion Play. We have 7 to 8 different itineraries. This is without a doubt the best itinerary that we have because of the cities: Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Bratislava, Oberammergau, the Passion Play. It really is an unforgettable trip. And so we hope everybody will join us. Book now and save $250. The deposit is $1,350, fully refundable up until December. And so, it's a little bit different this year because it is such a sought after tour. I do tell you, it is a first come, first serve. Get your name, get your deposit in. It will go quickly. I can promise you that. Your final payment will not be due until May 13th of 2022. Your total price will be $6,662. That's land, air, taxes, your insurance, everything. Again, go to Lee College. You can click on the book now symbol and sign up right there on the link, or you can call for bookings 800-581-8942. Reference booking 104-4040. You can ask for Andrea or anybody that answers. If you do have a voucher, please know that you can use our vouchers on any of our tours. We'll have the ability to have the flexible. We're always going to pick you up, take you to and from the airport. With any of our tours, you'll have the elite airfare dining experience. You can go in early, stay a little bit later. I talked about that no worries travel protection plan that allows you to cancel and get 100% of your money back. We have given back a ton of money this year. We're not going anywhere. We're financially stable. We're very excited about the future of travel. It also covers you for medical assistance, evacuation, lost baggage, and any of the loyalty points that you have for traveling with Colette since 2018, 2019, we're going to roll over into 21 and 22. So you'll have the ability to use those, but click that sign up now card and you can sign up, or of course, call the number that I had mentioned before. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Lynn and Dana, Romero, anybody that was on this. We are so excited about travel, and please let us know if you have any questions, and we will turn it back over to Lynn.
So, Kenny, could you and Kimberly and Michelle just one question each, because you really wrapped it up well. Thank you, Kenny. We thought we were going to go over, but I'll start with Michelle. So, Michelle, how should people dress when they're going on a Mayflower cruise? Just 2-3 sentences. Tell us how fancy or how casual should we be?
Yeah, it's casual. There's not like the big cruises where you have fancy gala nights. It's not like that. So just comfortable, casual. Make sure you have nice shoes for the walking tours. But usually for dinner, men might wear slacks, like a golf shirt, no ties, nothing like that. Women, just pants, nice top for dinner, but no need to worry about breaking out the sequins.
Okay, thank you so much. Kenny, can you also tell them with the vouchers, and Kimberly, you can answer this too, that have a voucher from a previous tour that was refunded, can they use that for deposit, final payment, or any or all? What?
Yeah. So with Colette, you can use any of those vouchers for deposit. You can make your final payment, whatever it is. When you call in and give your name and say you're from Lee College, you can talk to any of the people that answer, and we're immediately going to pull that up, and you'll be able to utilize that voucher as however you wish to do so. It's basically cash in your pocket.
Thanks, Kenny. What about Kimberly? What about Premier?
Absolutely, yes. For any and all of our tours, you basically, for these 2 days, you went travel shopping with those vouchers. That's what you had is kind of a credit card. So just pick whichever Premier World Discovery trip you want, and you'll be able to use that. Make sure when you call that you do talk to Melissa Grant. However, I did mention her name a couple of times. Melissa Grant is the one who will know everything that there is to know about them vouchers.
Okay. And Kenny, you said they should talk to Andrea Delmakin.
Yes, Andrea Delmakin, but if she's unavailable, any of the receptionists can help you, as they all have the notes, all the information in, but she's your first point of contact.
Okay. All right, but I'm going to turn it back over to Dana.
All right. Well, thank you, Lynn, and thank you, everyone. I don't know where to begin. We covered so much, my head is spinning. There are at least 6 trips that we featured over the last couple nights that have been on my bucket list for at least 10 to 15 years. I'm going to make this brief, and I want to keep it very simple for you. One of the things you can do is you can go to the Lee College website at lee.edu, and if you go into search and type in senior travel, that will take you right to our senior classes and our travel program page. And on that page, you have each tour that we just went over. You have videos, brochures, and photos, and links to book right online. If you would rather call, you have the numbers for all 3 of our travel partners, but you can also call us at Lee College anytime. Our number is 281-425-6311. That's here at the Workforce Center. and you can email workforce@lee.edu. I think that is all we have for this evening. As I said,
Yes.
we covered a lot of ground tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and tell your friends, and we will have on the website, we will have both nights videos from YouTube. And you can go to YouTube as well, YouTube, and type in Lee College, and you can see the videos there. But you will have ample opportunity to see these videos in their entirety, and that will start in a couple of days. And again, if you have any questions at all, we're here at the Workforce Center. We're always here for you, and I wish all of you a very happy, healthy, wonderful evening, and can't wait to see you in travels in 2021 and 2022.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Let's
Thank
go
you. Good
traveling.
night, everyone.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Kenny, Michelle, Kimberly, Lanny. We appreciate you.
Ariel.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.